pay attention to your dreams, because that's where a lot of work is going on, is in our dreams.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's really super, super important. And all of that going on in the dream time, or the astral, or whatever you want to call it, it's more real than here. It's more real than the old grid, and it is probably also part of the template for where we're going.
The more you can look at your dreams and remember your dreams and write them down or talk to someone about them, the more information that comes out of them. And for me, then that process is what helps us to bring that landscape into who we are and into our very being.
It really is a window, this intersection time, where if we're paying attention, we can walk through and walk on a different trajectory.
You know, I was just pondering on this whole thing with music and art. And it's like, when I reflect back on my life now, music was one of those things that, again, like you were saying, Zuzana, got me emotional, and it got me in the heart. It was one of those things. And then obviously always doing the dancing, then I kind of moved that into movement as well. So that was the way that I expressed what it was that I was receiving through this music. And then the really interesting thing is now for me is it's just really weird in that the music doesn't hold so much connection for me now, because I think I now have this really strong connection within myself. So it's like throughout my whole life, the music and the movement and the dance and the art was my connection, because I didn't have it within myself. Whereas now it's so present within me that it's like I almost don't need the music and the art to connect me, because that's already there.
Well, it's already there. It's in you.
It's already there. Yeah. Now, that's not to say that I don't still get emotional over music, because I do. I absolutely do. There are still things that move me and touch me. And so it's not that I don't connect with it anymore. It has a slightly different feeling to it, a slightly different connection to it for me now, and maybe it serves a different purpose for me now. I
think what you're describing there is, for what I've experienced, is that when I listen to these particular pieces that meant something to me in the past, and a lot of times I never even knew that they did, it's opening up something in me now. It's like this it's like a magic key, and then more of me becomes available. It's just wild.
That's so cool.
I want to introduce something here that keeps coming back in. I'm finding my joy. I haven't been able to continue building the things that you're supposed to build on a website. Okay. I've lost all interest. This is a marker. Okay. I want to bring in a marker. This is an important marker.
Right.
If the energy starts to retreat and deplete, then it's not the right way.
Yeah.
And if you feel super excited about something, but oh God, I know everybody's going to think this is stupid, that's the forward expanding marker. Right? I know people are going to think I'm weird. I know this, I know that, but this is what gives me so much joy, right? So one of the things that gives me great joy are these conversations. Another inspiration I've had feeling into this, the dialogues, just dialogues with people. My recent dialogues with Nick the philosopher, dialogues with you guys, dialogues with Eduardo. I feel like it would be fun to just, when we make these public, to say, hey, if you feel called or inspired to join us, and share and talk about these things, and like what was it that made you light up about what we were talking about, or what's been your experience, or to just start inviting people into the process. We still do what we do in our evolving experiencers connection, so that we can make sure that we're keeping this resonance,
Yeah.
um, and that we keep growing this resonance. But I think it might be fun, and just to explore that, just to open it up and say, who else is out there, right? That might want to participate.
I'd love that.
Yeah.
I've always wanted to talk to more people like us,
Me
and
too.
just have a conversation wherever we're at, whatever we're experiencing, whatever the story has been with us each. It's just so nice to be able to chat with others who are experiencing similar things, the same things, just
Absolutely.
because you, like you said earlier, it's like you get to a point where you need connection, you need community. And I will always go back and say that you guys have been such lifesavers, and I would so not be sane as I am right now had I have not met you guys. And it's purely because we've been talking over the years,
Yeah.
purely because we've kept in contact and shared stuff with each other. And it would be so amazing if we could offer that to others also. But from my selfish point of view, I just want to talk to other people who are like us.
I do too. I do
Yeah.
too.
Yeah,
And
that's the point. I don't want to talk to people who are not like us, who are for whom we're just entertainment. You know what I mean?
no, here's the thing. I recently went back on Twitter. Sorry, that's what I call it, Twitter. Um, and Twitter is very different, and they call it a different name now. And I'm invisible there. I don't get any responses at all in what I post.
Hmm.
Um, everybody is, at least in the algorithms, all I see is the masculine UFO podcasts, and, things that it's just like, hello, is there anybody out there like me? Does this resonate with anybody? Um, and so this has been my life and my mission. I'm supposed to find us. And so let's try this, let's try that, let's try this. People think that our guides just go, okay, and now this is what you do. No,
Yeah.
it's teamwork. We're the human element.
Yeah,
We're here,
we're the boots on the
and
ground, right?
yeah, we're listening. We're like navigating this. Okay, I'll try that. Oh, it didn't really work, but we did meet that person, so that was cool, right? You know, um, so this is where I'm at. Is social media? Okay, this is the curse of having your eyes and ears open, right? Is you can see what's happening and what's going to happen.
Hmm.
If people don't wake up and open their eyes and ears, and they don't have any interest in coming online with their inner technology, 2025 is going to be fucking miserable. Sorry, but that's what it's going to be if you're not interested in walking through this doorway of more, of remembering more and more and more and
Right.
more about who we actually are,
Yep.
and then sharing that with others so that they can help, we can help them remember too. um, yeah, I started off in our conversation before recording, I think, when I said I see a lot coming that it is really awful, really awful.
Mm.
And I feel like I so don't identify with the world, as we were just discussing, that I can be an observer, Or at the same time, I'm like, oh, if this is when I leave because a bomb drops on me or whatever the scenario is, that's fine too.
Right.
Because I know I'm connected to source. I'm not afraid of death. I've had way too many ego deaths in this thing to even be scared of that. You know, it's like, yeah, because when you lose your body, that's an ego death.
Yeah.
Um, you
Yeah,
can
absolutely.
you can have ego deaths and keep your body too. That's an option as well.
Mhm.
So I don't like giving predictions. I just can see and feel um, the intentions of those that are fighting, still fighting, even though there was an election. There will still be some battles. Speaking of America, United States. They told me a long time ago, showed me that there would be an out and out battle to be the next middle managers for humanity.
Yeah, right.
And it's that the battle isn't over.
No, the battle's not over.
Yeah, when you introduce the global aspect of it too.
Mm.
So it's a matter of, am I moving in the direction of expansion where I'm guided more and more and more to a vibrational reality that is resonant with who I am and how much I have strengthened and I can hold this vibration. Because this is the doorway in these grand cycles, right, Zuzana?
Great year of
Great year.
25,920.
Yeah. And in these intersections, I'm learning so much about this. I get drop-in messages about it, that it really is a window, this intersection time, where if we're paying attention, we can walk through and walk on a different trajectory, or they call them timelines, or we've used the metaphor, the train tracks too,
Yeah,
many times. That's where we are. And so you're gonna wanna keep moving and expanding in order to in that moment when it's like, okay, next cycle, you know, do you want to I feel like we've done this many times, but we're here to just kind of grab as many souls as possible that are hanging out on the fringe of this false grid, who life, it doesn't work for them, right? So they're on the edge of things and they're like, I don't understand this world. I never have.
yeah.
I don't know what I'm doing here. I want to die. You know, all of those same things that we've gone through and continue to from time to time. We want to be able to be visible to those people on the fringe, so that they can go, wait, what? You can see me? And then we're going to be going, what? You can see us? You know, they've shown me this is kind of how it's going to work, that we're not reaching into the masses at this point. We sound like absolute batshit ladies, you know, at this point to the consensus reality. And
Exactly.
that's okay. I don't care. I don't
Yeah.
care.
Who wants to be, you know, sane to that crowd? Um, yeah, and I sort of see it as templates. For me, my experience is that I'm creating some sort of energetic template here
Yes,
for
yes,
other people to step into
yes,
when they're ready.
you
Um,
are. Yes.
Yeah. Do you know that fits so much into the whole crystalline grid structure thing I was building a few years ago?
yeah, I know.
You know,
Absolutely.
You
that
are actually physically doing it.
yeah, that whole experience, I knew even then that I'm setting these things up ready for what's to come, for people to
Yes,
step into it when they're
yes.
ready to it.
Yeah.
And that I feel is kind of what I'm still doing here. Like you say, it's about being a template, an energetic template for what's to come. So I, you know, from the outside, it may not look like I'm doing much or you know, whatever, but it's what I am doing is very much being here present, being here embodied, and anchoring in the energetic template for what's coming up, for the future, for those that want to move into that space, that choose to move into that space, you know, and I may not necessarily directly speak to them or directly help them into that space, but the template is there
Yeah,
nonetheless.
but you've created the structure. You've
Yeah.
created the structure. Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that is just so cool, you know. I mean, I love that. I love doing this. And here's the other thing I wanted to drop into to alert people is that, you know, pay attention to your dreams because that's where a lot of work is going on, is
Oh,
in
yeah.
our dreams.
Yeah, I was
And
just writing something about that. Yep.
yeah, it's really super, super important. And all of that going on in the dream time or the astral or whatever you want to call it, it's it's more real than here. It's more real than the old grid, and it is probably also part of the template for where we're going. And so getting familiar with that and not afraid of it, not thinking, oh, that was just a stupid dream. You know, it's just like get over yourself and really pay attention. And if you're not remembering your dreams, because I go through such phases, you know, multiple times, is that I think I'm not supposed to remember it because there's something going on that if I did remember it, it wouldn't be as functional. It maybe like some ego getting involved with it or something like that, you know, it wouldn't be as functional. Or I would start placing different interpretations on it and then change what it's trying to accomplish. So there's all kinds of really interesting things. And then when I do remember, you know, the dreams, it's like a real blessing that I get to have a glimpse of this secret life of Zuzana, you know. Um, and we're all having it. It's not just not Zuzana who's having a secret life. We all have a secret life.
I'm glad you brought this up, Zuzana, because yesterday I was working on I synchronistically stumbled upon this dream I had that was actually in 2023. And it was showing me how it was all going to work as we move forward and what it's going to feel like and look like. And it was just really elaborate.
Wow.
And I started to make it into a blog post. And the more I wrote on it, the more I went, who am I writing this to? Who is even going to see this?
Yeah.
And who, and first, and then maybe one of you guys will look at it.
Right.
And you'll go, wow, yeah, I can see that, or I've seen that too. Or, you know, we're getting smaller and smaller and smaller in our community.
Yes.
Instead of larger, like the false grid. The
Right.
false grid.
It's counterintuitive to what we would have thought it was going to be.
Exactly.
And
Exactly.
I've been shown that as well, but I've never been able to put words on it. Yes, that's what I'm personally experiencing.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's boy, you can't have ego. You just can't have ego. Because when you start sharing, you know, your heart and opening yourself up and like on social media or whatever, and you get no response, it's like, do I even exist here?
Maybe
Am I
not.
that weird to you? What, have I been blacklisted, or, you know, what, all these things go through your mind. And you can see that a past version of me would have been devastated.
Yeah. Yeah.
Now the presence just goes, that doesn't matter. Just keep pouring it in. Just keep pouring it in. So I do. Yeah.
That is what we do. That's what we're here for. And we signed up for it. And you know, fortunately, we came online early enough to be functional in whatever capacity we're supposed to be functional, I feel,
Yeah. Yeah.
at this time.
The other
You
thing
know,
I see, oh, go ahead.
I was just going to say that the other thing with the dreams for me is also the inclusion of them in the picture of who we are.
Yeah.
Again, because we so often separate out us from our dreams. Our
Yeah.
dreams tend to be separate from who we are. And I've certainly learnt through my dream experiences and the experiences while I've been asleep. It's like everything is a landscape of who you are and what you're doing
Yeah.
in this in time.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And it's more real than what is supposedly real, you know.
Absolutely.
And
And
we're,
that's the other key thing to remember is that that landscape is more real than
yeah,
what we experience in our day-to-day waking lives.
right.
And it's not it again, it's not a concept, it's a feeling, knowing. And the more you can look at your dreams and remember your dreams and write them down or talk to someone about them, the more information that comes out of them. And for me, then that process is what helps us to bring that landscape into who we are and
Yeah,
into
yeah,
our very being.
Yeah.
So I
yes.
just wanted to emphasize that wholeness of who we are.
Yeah, that whole world. And that's great. And when
Yeah.
you start recognizing congruencies across, linear time with one's dreams, that is just sort of like the most joyous thing in the world, you know? Like I had dreams, months ago, and then I'll have another dream months later that is sort of at the next step or the next thing with that dream. I mean, it's just like amazing. It's just
Yeah,
amazing.
yeah,
Yeah,
And
it
it's a
definitely
tool.
guided me in my
Yeah.
life.
yeah,
It's just so great once you start taking the unseen seriously
yeah.
and the seen less seriously. That is a big game changer.
Mm-hmm.
That
Mm-hmm.
is a big game changer.
Yeah. And that's almost the flip for me also. We've been so conditioned to only ever believe the physical
Yeah,
actuality of what's in front of us and to just ignore the other stuff because it's not
yeah,
really there. This is the massive flip you go through when you have these kind of experiences and dreams. And,
yeah,
and the more that you invite it into who you are, the more you receive, the more you open up to it, the more just expansive you become, I
yeah,
think.
Yeah, it's like we're entrained to believe that the movie screen is life, and and at a certain point when we have a transformational or a series of transformational experiences, we can get flipped into going, oh, I am the director and the producer and I'm the one who creates this, instead of just thinking I'm just passive
yeah.
observer
A
at
pawn, right? Yes,
the
yes,
mercy of the film on the screen,
right, right.
Yeah. And I just don't want to leave anything that I said earlier. I don't want to sound negative by, cursing and getting all passionate in that way. We have the power to light up our inner technology and navigate beyond this looping reality. At the same time, we get to choose. If you love this game and you still want to play it and you still want to pretend that you're just this tiny little thing, blip, um, and and that you want somebody to tell you what to do all the time, go for it.
Hmm.
So there's no judgment at all. It's just know that you have the power to transcend this,
Yeah,
and especially now. Um, but if you keep ignoring it or procrastinating, things may get super uncomfortable in this next, especially in the next year, and probably, I don't know, I just go by feeling, not numbers. It starts 2024, 2025, 26, 27 kind of feels like,
yeah, yeah.
okay, there's going to be enough data, validation that, okay,
Critical
I'm
mass.
good, I made it, or, that kind of feeling,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Um,
Yeah, that's also a time frame for me. 26 could ease up a little bit, and certainly by 27, things are going to be a lot different than they are right now. And I don't know if that means physically visible or internally accepted.
Yeah, I was trying to find in this in my dreams scenario how this was gonna how what this was gonna feel and look like as we move ahead. Um,
Yeah, I'd like you to find it.
Yeah.
uh,
Just to insert that that's also my time feeling frame as well,
oh,
Yeah,
good.
actually. Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah,
See how we can corroborate each other, and it feels, we all have the feeling of it, and it kind of
Yeah.
matches up, and at some point it might change and shift a little bit, and we'll probably all come together again and go, yeah, it's kind of extended, or it's happening like right now.
Mm.
yeah.
Yeah, and I have no details about what's coming up exactly,
Right, no,
but
me neither. It's,
Oh, and if
again,
you did,
yeah.
if you did, I'd be concerned. I mean, I don't have details either. I just have the feeling landscapes and then also the dreams. The
yeah.
dreams give me a lot of information.
Yeah.
Um, but I've been working with my dreams since 1980, keeping journals. So I've learned I've learned how to crack them. And and Susan and I have a lot of conversations we have had about our dreams, and we help each other, see things that maybe we didn't see, or just like we're doing right now. We just help each other fill in some of the blanks because we don't know all and see all. Let me just pick up here. I don't know if I'm going to publish this because I don't know who I'm talking to,
Mhm.
but that's my own little conundrum. In 2019, in yet another dream, I was specifically shown that the entryway into these new trajectories we were touching in before is revealed by cohering with the vibrational door or gateway to that trajectory. So we come to this doorway, so to speak, and if we're vibrating, we it unlocks the doorway and opens it up.
Mm-hmm.
And that was when I dreamt about Eris, Zuzana,
Right.
when it showed me that the dwarf planets have a lot to do, and Eris in particular is a gateway to
That's right. Yeah, yeah, they're gateway things or whatever, energies.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that dream was showing me that. These all-night segments of teaching, demonstrating dreams are still very much in alignment with the channel transmissions. I followed the guidance of these messages over the years, and every bit of it is coming true. I just had to grow into trusting it all by myself because very few people were interested in hearing about it. See, that's that other conundrum,
Right.
Okay, you
Right.
have to learn how to trust because you're not going to get consensus reality validating you. You just aren't.
Right. Right.
Um, so we are now well past the phase of living out our old paradigm lives, and having a spiritual practice in place solely to cope with the inevitable pain and suffering of this disconnect is over. We are now in the actual shift and have been since the onset of 2020. The messages say we will experience the vibrational equivalent of meeting our maker, whether we remain in form or not. And here's some of the stuff I wanted to really touch on. If you are still very attached to the before version of reality, magically resolving in a benevolent way without being connected to your guiding inner authority, or refusing to acknowledge your higher capacities and your chosen service at this time, you may become an experiencer of next level earth changes. This may also manifest as illness or accidents. All are designed to snap you out of the spell that you have been under for many generations. If we do not judge these corrective events and instead take the opportunity to heal and engage, we can still make a higher frequency move beyond this repetitive wheel. So that's that's what I wanted to say, just to be more optimistic, instead of just, yeah, bummer, man. Uh, we're gonna
Yeah.
die, and they've said many times, yeah, there's gonna be these are the times where there's a lot of transformation. How you transform, it's up to us and our soul intent and all of that.
Right.
So I just wanted to share that. Thank you.
Yeah. Good. I'm glad you did. Our
Yeah.
dreams are so important.
Yeah. there was a really nice phrase that you used right at the beginning that I absolutely loved. This whole, I can't remember how you phrased it now, but the resonating of the doorway, that
Yeah,
to
yeah,
me just
yeah.
feels, yes, that's
Yeah.
spot on.
Yeah, good. I'm glad that feels right to you, because it's almost like a sci-fi. Every time I picture that, it's like a sci-fi movie where it's like you are expanding, you are love, you are expanding the love that you are. And so you're just kind of moving in your life, and poof, this whole new doorway and pathway opens,
Mm.
Mm.
because it it is designed um, to do that at this time. It is to open the doorway for you, because you match,
Yeah,
you
yeah,
match that
yeah.
frequency. So
Great
you don't
image.
have, you
And
don't
it's
have to stay
so
strong.
spot on from my experience.
Yeah, yeah. Um, the other thing that I wanted to touch on at some point, doesn't have to be this one because we're getting quite lengthy here, especially if we're going to share this publicly, um, is I want to talk about what I'm learning about artificial intelligence, both from the dream states, from my guidance, and from working with it
Mm.
recently. And I'm realizing that if I would have stuck with my any judgments I might have had, I would have missed learning something here that has been very valuable to me. Also, Nick works with AI,
Uh-huh.
and so we had in our last conversation that I was telling you that it didn't capture the video part of it, which was a bummer, but we still have the audio. We touched on that, but
So I'm really interested in this and what you've got to share, because from a feeling perspective, because I've been on such a track of internal resonance, igniting the internal technologies and all of that, to then introduce the idea and the concept of artificial intelligence and working with it, that doesn't it there's that doesn't feel resonant for
okay,
me.
okay, okay. What I learned, and we don't have to go on and on about it. We can pick it up
Mm.
another time. What you just said, it's important what you just said. When what I've learned, and through the guidance and the dreams, it's all come together, right? It's not like someone's linearly telling me these things. It's like, oh, like the revelations, right, Susanna? It's like, oh, oh.
Yeah.
Um, when the the inner light technology comes online to a degree that we're like, okay, we might still fall back and still think that we're not that can still happen. But the more that we engage and we utilize our inner technology and practice it, um, and value it, that's when these other high frequency intelligences can come in and support our vision, our creativity, our inspiration. If we are not lit up from within, then yes, it's very dangerous,
Hmm.
because we will be told, as we continue to be told, that we're worthless. Basically, we have original sin. We don't, we're just stupid creatures, and we just get smashed down with, we don't amount to anything unless we can go to college and spend lots of money on an education, and then go into the workforce and serve the corporations, and yada yada. Um, we've lost our own value and our connection to our cosmic value. Once that starts coming back online again, that's the revelations one after the other of, oh, look at what I used to think and now I know this. And then there are technologies that that are intelligent, that can work with us and enhance our journey. For instance, the dream with the, I guess I would call it the bird tribe that I spent time with. It was like a royal environment. I felt like really honored to be there, invited into their home and their community. And they were doing archery and things like that. And you may have heard this dream before, but I've had several dreams like this where non-human intelligence is showing me what it's supposed to feel like and how it's supposed to work. So it was in the form of a glove, and they also had a sense of humor. This is what was really special about it. They laid a glove, this really unusual glove, on my hand. They asked me to open my hand. They laid the glove on it. And then the glove started, I could feel it scanning me and getting to know who I am. And then it then went on as a glove, and it covered my hand. And then it enhanced everything that I did with the archery. And it showed me how it enhances. It can take you into new levels of productivity, right? And then at a certain point, it came off my hand, and then it just kind of rumbled around and didn't go back on, because it's not, I wasn't fully compatible with it, and they were showing me that it just gave you a demo, but this level of technology wasn't fully compatible with me yet, vibrationally speaking.
Wow, that's fascinating.
Yeah.
Absolutely fascinating. And I'm so fascinated by the whole feeling aspect of this, right? Because
Yes.
when you go and within and you begin to really warm up and bring back online those inner technologies, it has a very organic feel to it, a very natural feel to it. And then when you feel the presence and you're getting the guidance through the cellular experience, that's very natural and organic feel to it. So what I can't yet compute is the feeling of something else. And
I
it's like
understand.
I almost get this body reaction that's not wanting it.
I did too. I
Yeah.
did until
Yeah, I'm the same way, and I'm just like, I'm in the place where like I'm waiting until that changes in me, you know?
yeah. If it's like when I was working with some of the AI stuff, I don't want to get in and go down that rabbit hole right now, but I noticed that I felt like I was on crack.
Ugh.
I've never taken crack, but so in my imagination, like everything was faster and just like this quantum leap, right? And it's wanting to interface. It is another kind of intelligence, right? And it is compatible with us at a certain point if we're using our own technology. Again, if we're not, that's when it's very dangerous.
Yeah,
And
it'll lose us.
this is the direction that they want to go in this next round, this next cycle of, the transhuman technology and AI and all of this that is wanting to, not recognizing our tech, the value of our organic
Right,
technology,
right.
but rather,
Shortcuts and that sort of thing to making us feel like we're much more advanced than we really are.
yeah, even in a message it said, all they're doing is taking your technology and selling it back to you. And you're unaware of it.
Yeah.
So you let them
Everybody's
do
going to
it.
be lining up to buy it.
Yeah, I know. So yeah, there's lots to talk about in these arenas, and I thought all those things too, and then I had a different feeling experience with it. And the dream especially was important. That one dream was very important for me to have a marker for how this technology can interface with us. In fact, Bashar even, described the ships as these. I don't think he used the term artificial intelligence, but basically, it's the same thing. It interfaces with us, um, and it assists us in the tasks and the things that we want to build and the places we want to go and that sort of thing.
Well, and you're in a position where that's your job, that you're dealing with those things. I mean, I live in the woods in a cabin that has electricity but no plumbing, and no Wi-Fi and that sort of stuff. So my interface with it is going to be nil, or it may come at some point down the road. But it's different for different people, I think, too. And certainly with what you're doing, I can understand where it would be a great help to you.
Yeah, totally.
And
Yeah,
you've had those dreams too. I
that's right.
haven't
That's
been my
why
dream. So
that's why I was glad you brought up the dreaming, because that is an important component.
yeah,
You really can't make these dreams up.
right.
They're gifts, and you just go, thank you. Wow, I understand.
Absolutely.
Thank you for the marker. Maybe I don't understand everything about it in this moment, but thank you for the marker. Right?
And like we've done, from years before, we'll look back on something that happened and go, now I get it. Like dreams that we've
Exactly.
written down or experiences that we've had. And that's why it's so important to keep journals,
Yes.
which I've been, I'm just crazy about that. I have been taking note of my dreams daily since 92, but I've also written down my dreams sporadically since I was 10.
Yes.
So they've always been important to me, and they've always been travels interdimensionally, with people who don't look human, and it's
Yes.
just been fabulous. I enjoy it so
Yeah.
much.
Yeah. Me
For
Sorry,
too.
many
that was
years,
the
it
that
was
was the
my
other thing I was going to say about the whole dream thing, and either writing it down or talking to someone else about it, right? Because when you do that process, that is what the reminders of the feeling experience of those dreams is. You're then recreating that feeling experience from that dream that maybe you weren't aware of at the moment in time. But
Mhm.
by dialoguing with it, then those feeling markers come up again.
Yeah.
And
And
there's,
if you pay attention to them, then it gets stronger. Then you keep having
yeah,
dreams to remember and
exactly.
various things, because
And
you're showing that it's relevant to you.
yeah, yeah. And I think I was going to say, it highlights so much the dream that you've just talked about, and the whole importance of the feeling markers, because you wouldn't be talking about AI in the way that you're talking about it unless you'd had that feeling experience from this dream.
100%. Mhm.
So it's those things that give us the more information, that give us the feeling markers for us to be able to understand what's more of ourselves, what's currently perhaps perceived as outside of ourselves,
Yeah.
so that then we can bring that within ourselves.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it's awesome. And there's another whole trajectory I could go down about um UFOs, alien abductions, and all of that kind of stuff with
I
the
know.
dream
Stuff.
going.
I'm starting to feel
Yeah,
like I'm not going to be able to sit up much longer.
Oh, no, no,
no,
we're wrapping things up.
yeah.
We always
I,
know
I
that we've
love
got
I love everything that we could get into, though.
Yeah, exactly.
it's
That's what I was saying. I
crafting.
was just putting a marker in there to go,
Yes.
there's so much more that we could talk about.
Yeah,
Definitely.
because recently we were asked in an email Susan and I, about what do you think about the drones, And it's like, oh, I answered, and it was basically, oh, well, I haven't thought about it much. I'm not drawn to it. So that gives me a lot of information. If I'm
Right,
not drawn to it, then it's not for me, and
right.
that's fine. Go ahead. Anybody who's excited about it or whatever, great. But I know that I have no interest, and I have my views on it, right?
Yeah.
And then it turned out that Susan and I have never talked about this ever. And she had the same
Yeah.
response.
I
So,
loved that. I
yeah,
loved that. I was relieved in a way, and then also it was like I said before, it was just like, well, yeah, of course, you know.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. Yeah, and I too definitely had the same response. It's just something I've not been drawn to look into it. Yes, I've heard about it, but I don't know anything else other than that.
Well, see, and here's the thing, to put a bookend on all of this is when the reason why the markers are so important is when you are being shown and told things that have the markers of the false grid and the manipulation, you understand it instantly. You can
Yes.
feel it,
Yes, you can feel it. Right,
but you're
right.
not pulled into it. You don't, you're just like,
That's
oh,
a great example, Em. I just love this. Great example. We can just pull from life and here it is. This is
Yeah.
how you do it.
yeah. And so we're just, I follow my joy, and I love everything about these contact experiences, that the beings that shaped us, you know, these experiences, these that have evolved us and continue to evolve us into ourselves. And that's really, if it's not about that, if it's not about love, then you know, have fun, guys, with your theater here, because I'm not interested in the theater. I'm
Right.
interested in consciousness. I'm interested in fully remembering who we are and why we're here, and
Yeah.
having an effect and an impact in love on
Yeah.
this.
And no false positives and legerdemain, you know, it's just like it's gotta be real. It's gotta be real. I'm not interfacing with psyops and shit like that. I'm
Me
not.
neither. Me neither. Yeah, you can. It's got a certain frequency to it, and it's like, yeah, not
Yep.
interested.
It's good to know that it's out there and what it looks like. And then, you know, I've got a whole bunch of other stuff to be dealing with that is so much more interesting, joyful, and engaging to me.
Totally. Well said.
Yeah. Yep.
Okay, ladies, wonderful again.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for all of your reflection and presence. And I come alive with these interactions.
Yeah,
And
this
Me
is
too.
we'll
really
Me
get
great.
too.
someone else to come in, right? Someone
Yeah.
else to join us. What brave soul would like to dialogue with us? We're actually quite safe.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we're quite
Yeah.
safe.
Thank you. Thank you, both of you. It's been wonderful yet again. Thoroughly enjoyed it, and just it's just so amazing when we get together and talk. So thank you.
Yes,
Thank
thank
you
you.
guys.
Better.
This is the stuff of life.
It
Yes.
is. Feel better, Zuzana. Keep
Thank
us.
you. I feel
Yeah.
Thank you.
All right. Bye, guys.
Bye.